Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Dialar's Tactics for what I feel like is the fourth video on how to beat the Podarge, the Podarge dungeon in King Arthur Legends Rise. So if you're watching this sometime in the far-flung future, this is the only team you're going to need. But we all know, if you're watching this close to the time of this recording, that this dungeon was bugged, which allowed us to use Fire Surges just to loop and to beat these guys quite easily. Now, that bug has quickly been removed. As such, I have to remake this video again. So this is going to be my final guide, at least until I get the the other team up and rolling on Podarge level 10 how to beat. So let's dive in. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, let's just talk about team comp first, kinda. This is the team that I've been practicing on that works. It's still RNG, and we're going to discuss that when we talk about the fight, but this team works. My Nika is only Chivalry 4. There's no Chivalry 8 Nika here, but this dungeon is really hard. So please, please, please don't come in the comments, and I know you're going to anyway, because there's going to be people that do that are like, I don't have Nika. Who do I use? I am sorry. The heroes that you're going to need are going to be very specific to beat this thing at level 10. You will not be able to bring in just some random free-to-play. And what is free-to-play now anyway? You can't just bring in a lesser team and expect to beat this thing. This is the end game content. This is brand new content roughly at the time of this recording. So this team that you see on the screen right now, this team works. There is some RNG elements to it though. The team that they want you to bring in is they want you to bring in Charlotte and Vivian in place of Nika and Morgan. Now, a couple things I want to highlight about this boss of why Lancelot is, in my view, a must-have unit for this dungeon. So if we click right here, so these are the Harpies. When inflicted with a dot, 100% chance to increase the duration of the dot by 1 turn, and 100% chance to gain damage taken 2 for 2 turns. Now, when you combine this with Wind Morgan, who's doing defense down, that basically sets it up so that you can nuke the ads, these harpies, these little harpies, fairly quickly. And that is how you kill the boss, because if you see right here, upon dying, inflicts damage on Portage, the boss, equal to 5% of her max HP. So the goal of this fight is kill the ads, kill the ads, kill the ads, kill the ads. Now, like I said, the other ideal team comp that they would want you to bring in is Charlotte as the lead, because she has the lead. You guys, I'll just show you right here. Charlotte has been made for this dungeon in Podarge Sanctuary. Grant all allies attack up 20% and max HP. My Charlotte is kinda poop. See, she's only Chivalry 1 and she's in Wind. You really ideally want her to be in Flame Relic. No, don't have her. So I'm running Nika. Why am I running Nika? Because her lead gives me 20% HP. And it gives Morgan some more HP, which she's going to need because they are going to target her quite often. Now, I'm not going to go in here right now because I've spent all my stamina trying to figure this thing out. So we're going to go to some recorded footage. I don't tend to like recorded footage. The reason why is I like showing things live. I like showing things live because then you guys see it screwing up. You see how consistent it is. You see how effective it is. Any CC can just record footage of it working and then put it out and be like, this is how it works all the time. And then people will go in and they'll be like, hey, this doesn't work for me. What the hell, buddy? So I tend to not like recorded footage. But like I said, this battle is long and it is RNG. There is some RNG. So we're going to skip the first phase because you don't need to know that. Now, things to know when we're talking about team setup. The boss has an attack where she will silence the highest attack hero. I did play around with the gear. So you'll notice in this video that Aine, or Anya, is going to get silenced. That's because she has the highest attack. So how this works is, you see, as soon as Lancelot goes here, boom, there you go. So you see we got all the burns. Now, since I can't show you the other buffs, they all have the defense down from Morgan's A2 or S2, and now they also have damage taken increase from having been inflicted with a dot from Lancelot. Now, what the goal of this is you want the ads now, when your board is all set up like this, you want the ads to just lightly love tap Anya. And then Anya's going to counterattack them with all these debuffs up, and she's just going to kill them for you. Okay? Now, there is some RNG. There's two ways that this can go very, very poorly. One is the ads can just choose to focus target down Morgan. And they like to focus target her because she's a wind element. And since they're all wind elements, they have the greatest elemental affinity towards her. Since fire, they would have a negative affinity against. All right? But you don't want to bring in Fire Morgan. That gives you more control over the ads. But you really, really, really need to have that defense down on them, because this fight is about kill the ads. So the RNG can be frustrating. So now they attack. Anya counterattacks, and as you see, she can do roughly about 20% damage on a counterattack. You know, Nika, another one of the benefits of her is that she's also going to have an AoE attack in fire. So when they're all set up like that and they have that damage taken increase and they have the defense down, when Nika comes in and does the AoE, or when Morgan comes in and does the AoE, they will take okay damage. Decent damage, nothing crazy, but decent damage for a support and a control unit. So there is the silence. See how Anya has silence times 2? So see, she is now only going to use her basic, but that does not negate Anya's ability to counterattack if they hit her. So that is why Anya, I think, is a must-have unit for this. Now, if you brought in Charlotte, obviously Charlotte's going to have higher attack, and that's unfortunate. So whack, whack, whack. You see Morgan did drop below 50% health, and then she's going to put this sleep on all of these units, but here comes Lancelot. He's going to come in here, and he's going to negate all that sleep, but that's okay. Let me move my mouse. So we're whittling him down, whittling him down. You see, Anya didn't really do a lot of counterattacks there, unfortunately. There's one, and then we're still going to start killing them. Boom, boom, boom. Now here, this is an important point of RNG. So this is going to be another thing we have to talk about. You see that Podarge, I don't know why it's so hard for me to say, Podarge. You see the Harpy Witch, the boss. She's now in her charge phase. See how she's got her talons out and it's glowing? What you have to do during this phase is you have to kill at least one ad. If you can kill one ad, then you're going to take reduced damage when she does her AoE attack. If you don't, then you're probably going to die if you can't. Now, it is kind of odd setup because remember that your setup to this phase is going to be dependent on how many times they hit Anya and she counterattacks them to get them damaged low. And now we're also dependent on RNG if they have to hit her again or they have to be really, really close and die from burns during this little phase. So luckily, there we go. You see, it was Nika that killed one. Now we killed two. And then we took about, looked like that was 25 to 30% of our max HP as damage. So a lot going on in this fight. This fight is really complicated. And Fire Surges did make this almost too easy for how hard it was. So you see Anya counterattacked. Now, Morgan is going to get down there in damage, or in HP, you see there. She's really, really low. She's really, really low. So now, at this point, they could just focus target down Morgan and kill her, and your run would fail. You see there, Morgan luckily reduced some of the turn meter. That's on a cooldown. And it gives us a little bit of breathing room to get some health back on our Morgan. Again, Anya counterattacks. It is completely RNG. There, she's going to counterattack again. What the nice thing about this game is you can set it to run like 10 runs of 3, right? So if you win 1 out of every 3 runs, well, at least you're getting something. So don't expect to win every time unless you have a better team than I'm showing you right now. So we're getting down there. We're killing. Now the boss is going to go into, shortly here, she's going to go into her charge attack that she does when she's below 50% health. Otherwise, it's just same old. Kill, try to keep Morgan alive, hope that they hit your Anya. Now, here we go. Charge attack number 2. This is the charge attack she does when she's under 50% health. Now, if you have to kill more than 1 ad. So if you can kill more than 1, then she won't one-shot one of your heroes. I do believe I kill 1 unit here. I think I killed this guy over here. Let's see. I think I do. Yeah, there. Oh, I killed 2. So I still killed 2. I killed 2, but you're going to see she's still going to one-shot my Anya. I thought it was 2, but I guess it's got to be more than that. So boom, Anya's dead. Now, she's always going to target, much like her silence ability that she does, is she will target your highest attack hero to nuke. But luckily, if you've gotten down to this point, you see that we got 1 ad, this one right here, that's close to death, and then this one is down around 35% health. So you just have to make sure that at this point you've kind of set up the board well enough that you can finish her off with what you have left. Luckily, you do have Lancelot, who's going to come in here and put down the burns, which means they're going to take increased damage. You do have Morgan that's going to come in here and put her AoE defense down, which is going to allow them to take increased damage. And then you got Nika, who's doing her AoE heal, keeping you healed and also doing okay damage. So if you get to this point, you're likely good. It's a messy fight. See, there you go. We knocked her down. Now all we got to do is kill 1 more ad, and she's dead. Boom, boom, boom. And they're picking on Morgan. Don't got her yet. I think Nika's going to be the one to come in here and kill them. No, she's not. Right there. She killed herself. Died of shame. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a messy dungeon. We're just going to show you some stats right now. There you go. You see Anya is our damage dealer. You're really relying on Anya getting hit, first of all, which is RNG, and then counterattacking, which, again, is RNG because you're only going to have... since she's silenced most of the time, you're kind of relying on her innate counterattack, which she's only going to have about 60-some% just from gear. Okay. Now, I want to go show you guys exactly all of my heroes because, that is very prudent. I have to now show you all of the toys that I'm working with because you're going to have to replicate something like this or close to. So let's go in and we'll talk about the heroes. Now, my Nika is C4. We're going to start there. She's C4, and you at minimum need her at C4. If you have under C4, this isn't going to work. Why? Because C4 gives you that extra vigor charge, which basically keeps her healing. If we look at her gear, she is in a speed set with a life set, and she is in a full immortal set on the keepsakes, even though that's not important. What's most important is obviously some speed, because the more heals, the better. She's around 250 speed. So that's kind of my Nika. Now she heals off of her max HP. In reference to that, her HP is 42,000. That is important because you do want her having lots of HP to heal as much as possible, because you saw how much they targeted my Morgan to the point where she was almost killed twice. Now, talking about Morgan, you do want her in her vigor gear because you see that vigor, the vigor charges. You need vigor because you want Nika always doing her S3. You always want Lancelot doing his S3 as well. Anya, you're going to set up as S2, but she's not going to be in a vigor charge, so this team is going to be vigor hungry. Of course, if you had Nika at C8, that makes this fight a little bit easier because then your team is always going to have that extra vigor charge. So Morgan, you see that she is in a vigor set. I still have her somewhat fast, 267 speed, and she does have almost 100% effect accuracy to her 26,000 health. Now let's go talk about our Lancelot first. He is only awakened 5, so I don't even have his other piece, which would give more dots, right? Because the dot set, after inflicting dots, inflict random dot. So he is in a vigor set. What's important about Lancelot is he's got 100% effect accuracy because this is all about him landing the birds. Remember, more dots, more damage taken on those ads. Vigor, I think, is important as well because you want him, again, you want 2 vigor sets at least, and Nika at C4 to enable you to have enough vigor to spam Lancelot's S3 and Morgan's S2 and Nika's S3. So he's sitting around 100% effect accuracy. His crit rate, 50%. I don't think that's really important. Effect accuracy neck, effect accuracy belt, whatnot. He's just there to basically apply the dots so that Anya can do the damage. Now let's go look at Anya. Now, unfortunately, you do need her in her fire relic. Why? You know why. It's the elemental affinity. So do you need everything this maxed out? No. Really, it's all about... Actually, yeah, you kind of do. No, you kind of don't. You don't need really that maxed out. You need her fire relic. You want it as high as possible in order to give her the most attack stats, obviously. But you need her fire relic because that does well. You'll get the maximum elemental affinity bonus for attacking wind units. Now, when it comes to her gear, this is going to be the most important part above her. I really like my Anya gear. I'm really proud of this set. Is it maxed? No. There's a 5-piece. There's a 5-piece. There's a 5-piece. But let's show you what I got going on here. So, counterattack. You see, I've only got, 36%? What is this? 18%. So I have my counterattack trigger. I only have 2 sets. So my counterattack's actually quite low. 36% chance. So a 1 in 3 chance that she is actually going to counterattack. And that makes or breaks the fight. You saw that she will be the target of silence. If possible, I think maybe if you could get Lancelot's attack a little bit higher over Anya, that might make things easier. But I did try that. I tried doing a bunch of runs with Lancelot having a higher attack than Anya, and it didn't work out. It just didn't gel properly. I felt that this having Anya silenced was ideal because that allowed Lancelot to always spam that S3. Now, the thing is, again, this is where the majority of the RNG of this fight is going to be done, is because her counterattack is only a 1 in 3 chance. But you see my effect resistance way up there. She scales a lot of attack off of her effect resistance, specifically on that counterattack ability. Let's just see if I can find you verbatim where that is. I do believe that's not that one. It is in her chivalries, and it is her C4 Soar. So, Torrent of Mana, which is her P3, attacks additional, all enemies 2 times, total damage, 78% of attack. Damage increased according to effect resistance, being total additional damage per stat of effect resistance, 2%. So, if I'm at 130... that means when she goes to attack, she's going to attack 2 times, and you're going to be doing 260% of her attack. So you really do need her gear fine-tuned. And this Torrent of Mana, if we go look at it now, which was right here. Oh, no, it was her P1. Attacks all enemies 2 times. Yes, after using skill 3. But that's going to be the one that triggers on counterattack, which comes from her. Yes, skill effect triggers upon counterattack. So effect resistance, you could get away with putting in another counter set right here. So you can run 3 counter sets. That would up your counterattack to basically a coin flip, 50-50. But then you're losing, 20% effect resistance, which is an extra 40% attack. 40% attack? Yeah, 40% attack. Well, yeah, no, 20. So you're 20. Yeah, you can run the math. But you do have to ensure that this neck will be effect resistance if you're running a counter set neck. So you can do that. That's another thing that might help this fight out. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, that's a long one. Actually, 20 minutes, that's pretty short for me. This fight, it's a lot harder. Definitely, it's a lot harder now. But at least I'm showing you a way to do it. Eventually, in time, I will have the team. But my Vivian right now, so like if I was going to run the real team, it would be, obviously, it would be this. And then it would be this. But unfortunately, there's some things you need. You do need, basically, since this is endgame, you want at least C8 on your Charlotte, and you want her Fire Relic. You do want probably a C8 Vivian. Why? Because, that's when she actually does things. So when attacking, she'll do the dot and blah, 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 blah. But one of the nice things about Vivian in that fight is that those harpies are always going to be putting that lightning dot on you, which is considered a dot. I do believe it is also considered a dot. And then you see right here, yes, so this, at C3, this goes down to all skills. 100% independent chance to reduce all passives on each ally that has recovery over time. And then when she does this, since they are going to be dotting you, you're going to flip those dots to recovery over time. So Vivian is the ideal healer for that fight. And then she's going to be reducing everybody's passives. And then, she's going to be doing lots of things. Charlotte, obviously, she's going to be pulling from health, not vigor. So it's going to make it easier for you to just do more vigor skills. Could you get away with just doing this? Maybe that's more burns. But I don't think this is really... I think the S2 is the ideal one, because that's the one that's going to convert all the dots. Like I said, the enemy harpies are going to be applying the lightning debuff to you. If you need to know what that looks like... where's my Lancelot? We'll show you what that buff looks like. You get it on his C8. Lightning Strike. Takes 5% damage each turn. I do believe that is also a dot. I think it comes also on his C3. I think it's a dot. I think Lightning Strike is considered a dot. Can we show you here? Yes, there it is right there. So a dot is a burn, blah, 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 blah. Lightning Strike. It is considered a dot. So Vivian will strip those. She will convert those to heal over times, and she can just, passively heal your team throughout the whole fight as well. So that is, I think that now that is everything you need to know about this fight. When I was trying it with my team, I did a bunch of different things. Like I tried putting Iwaret in for Lancelot, but then Podarge, she would just target Iwaret because he's the highest damage dealer, and then he would just spend the whole time silenced and only doing his S1, which is useless. At least with Anya silenced, when she's hit, she's still doing her counterattacks, which is the vast majority of her damage. So she can be silenced, and it kind of negates, or Anya being silenced kind of negates the silence in a way. Yes, she can't do her S2, she can't do her S2, which is the only thing that she's going to be doing anyway. Let's just show you the skill. So this is what it looks like. This is what it's all set up. So even though she's silenced, she can't do her S2. That's not a big deal. When she's hit, she's still going to counterattack and do damage. So I think that if you don't have Charlotte and Vivian really, really built up, then this is what you can use. Now, you don't need Morgan at C10 because really she's, again, the wind Morgan's just there to inflict those defense down. If you don't have Wind Morgan, then I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't want people to come in the comments saying, I don't have Nika, I don't have Wind Morgan, what can I use? You can't. At level 10, you can't. It requires 2 very specific teams. And this team isn't the ideal team. That's going to be the Vivian Charlotte team. So, ladies and gentlemen, I kind of like listening to myself. I felt like I was stern and scolding, but I still get people asking me, I don't have Nika, who do I use? I'm sorry. I'm trying to help you out here. This is what works. Again, this is we're going to give this team a 1 in 3 chance because you're basically depending on the 1 in 3 chance of Anya counterattacking. So, ladies and gentlemen, code word of the day, I don't know, RNG, because that's what this dungeon is. It's a lot of RNG. So put RNG down in the comment section below. I'll know you made it to the end of this video. I hope it helps. Good luck, everybody. Till next time, cheers, peace, bye-bye.